Hello everyone. Many people believe that the best way to learn a new vocabulary is through reading. This belief is extremely common, especially for us teachers who heavily rely on books and graded readers. Reading feels academic, traditional, and pretty much familiar to all of us. It also seems logical. Books contain a lot of words, so reading more should really help us to learn even more. However, through decades of second language acquisitions, research suggested that this belief is an oversimplification. Reading does help, but it is not always the best way to learn, especially for us modern language learners. To understand even more, that's why we need to take a closer look at what the researchers actually tells us. First, Paul Nation, a leading vocabulary researcher, found out that learners need multiple exposures of word before they can truly acquire it. Reading alone rarely provides enough repetition. Learners benefit far more when vocabulary appears across different forms of input, like reading, listening, and visual support. Secondly, studies on multidimensional input shows that vocabulary learning improves when learners receive audio and visual cues. For example, Nguyen and Boers from 2019 found that learners who remembered words better when they watched videos instead of reading text, because videos provided gestures, facial expressions, and contextual clues. This is where cartoons and movies becomes the most powerful tools. In animated shows, actions and emotions are exaggerated. Characters repeat some of the phrases, speak clearly, and use visual that makes the meaning obvious. This creates extremely comprehensible input, which is essential for vocabulary acquisition. Third, research on learner psychology, such as the work of Howard's in 2020, highlights the role of motivation. Students remember more when they are engaged, and for us as learners, watching movies or cartoons is far more enjoyable than reading a long passage. When learners enjoy the input, their attention increases, and thus their vocabulary growth. These findings connect closely with the major theories in SLA, which helps explain why audiovisual input works well. This research aligns with Krashen's input hypothesis. According to Krashen, learners of second language acquisition, when they receive comprehensible input, they understand. But which slightly challenges them, cartoons and movies' naturality provides it. Learners see the situation, hear natural speech, and connect meaning instantly. Reading alone does not offer this level of support. We can also apply dual coding theory, which says that words are easier to remember when they are linked to images, sounds, and action. The movies and cartoons are both active in both verbal and visual channels, making the vocabulary stick longer. So, what does this tells us about the original belief? So, is the myth completely false? Not exactly. Reading does help, but saying it is the best is kind of misleading. A more accurate statement is vocabulary is learned most effectively through rich, comprehensible, and engaging input. And for many learners, this comes from movies, cartoons, and not just books. Reading works best when paired with listening and visual support. Understanding this shift gives us a clear implication for classroom practice and for learners themselves. What does it mean for teaching and learning? For teachers, incorporating short movie clips, animated stories, or simple cartoons into the lessons, these materials can provide natural vocabulary repetition and a strong visual support. And for the learners, we can use subtitles, pause very interesting lines, and keep a quick vocabulary log to start with a familiar cartoons, then move to movies, then use reading as a follow-up activity to strengthen the same vocabulary. This brings everything together. In short, reading is valuable, but it's not the only way. For many learners, it's not even the most effective way. Cartoons and movies provided multidimensional input, clearer context, and a more stronger motivation. When we combine reading with rich audiovisual exposure, vocabulary learning becomes faster, deeper, and more enjoyable for us all. That's all for my video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all again in the next video. Stay awesome.